Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are bringing you our 5 thoughts on motivation. 1. Motivation is the worst teammate anyone could ever ask for. Why? It shows up at the beginning of all journeys, right at the moment the team is deep inside their bath of delusion and hope, and leaves at the first sign of struggle.
This one is about the idea that at the beginning of all journeys, everybody is motivated. If you're a part of a team, everybody is open to thinking about how bright the future might be or how big the company is going to be. This is about how motivation can come and go really quickly when we're involved in projects. At the beginning, everybody is motivated. Everybody can clearly see the end of the journey, and the end of the journey looks good and appealing. And a few weeks or maybe even days after, that same motivation goes away, and it predictably comes and goes right at the moment that things become more difficult than we expected it at the beginning.
The second thought is that life is like a library of lessons, and one of them is that to rely on motivation to get anything done is to rely on the dog not to eat your homework. You know deep down it won't end well, but it doesn't matter anyway. Only you know the true reasons behind your actions.
This point builds up on the previous one, meaning that motivation is, at the end of the day, unpredictable. For you to rely on motivation to make sure that your vision is realized, to make sure that you accomplish your goals, is a bad bet at the end of the day. You need to find better ways to keep yourself going. You need to find better ways to make sure that you accomplish all the points on your to-do list. And motivation is one of those things that when it comes, and when it goes. You can have a hard time predicting when it will come or go.
The third point is that motivation is that friend who shows up before the true beginning of the journey, the one who leaves when things get tough, and the same who comes back just after you've crossed the finish line.
This point is again about the comings and goings of motivation. That at the beginning of the journey, you're motivated. When things get tough, like along the way, you're demotivated and you're more likely to feel tempted to quit on whatever you're doing. And then once again, you get motivated at the end of the journey once you accomplish your goal. The idea is to expect this to happen, not to hope that it will be any different, because at the beginning of journeys we tend to think that this is going to be the one time that things will be different, but they won't. This is how motivation works, and it will always be the same.
4. Motivation is a temperamental lover. Tomorrow's forecast should be based on today's results, but it isn't. Tomorrow could be completely different from today and just as easily be exactly the same.
Motivation is unpredictable. The question you have to ask yourself is, how can you make sure you keep on doing the things you have to do to accomplish your goals? How do you stay on track? And how do you make sure that you never quit? And the simplest answer seems to be by taking advantage of the brain's tendency to turn repeated action or repeated behavior into habits. Habits are the simplest things for the brain to do, or the easiest things, and they usually require little to no motivation.
Lastly, like me, the most reliable way to be and stay motivated is by having my results. This is why smaller goals are better than bigger goals. You get through them quicker, accomplish them more easily, while giving yourself the feeling of having something done along the way.
The way you set your goals can make a big difference on how or whether you can actually accomplish them. If you set a big goal, it's motivating at the beginning, of course, but then as we discussed, motivation comes and goes on its own volition, and it's much easier for you to quit if the goal is really big, because it eventually becomes intimidating. Right? So the solution is to have smaller goals in addition to the building good or better habits, and that way you don't have to rely so much on motivation. By having smaller goals, you hack into motivation. As we discussed again, motivation tends to come at the end of a journey when you finally accomplish a goal, regardless of how big the goal is. And if instead of trying to achieve or accomplish your vision in one go, and you break it down into smaller goals, You get to experience this feeling of accomplishment, or this motivation that comes from the feeling of accomplishment, not once, but over and over again on your way to your end result.
So, what other thoughts do you have on motivation? Leave it in the comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Bye.